So, Download. It's the biggest, most famous and most influential alternative music festival in the UK. I've been several times before, to the famous Drownloads of 2015 and 2016, where I saw stars like Ozzy, Bruce Dickinson and Slipknot demonstrate why they attract audiences which would outnumber an ancient army. I've also been to the Pilot in 2021, which was one of my best festival experiences ever, though I did experience the hell of the Yorkshire puddings that year. However, I had no plans to attend in 2024. In fact, I'd planned to have a job at this point in my life. Well, reality doesn't always give you what you expect. In enters Dean, the CEO of Circular Camping and a previous guest on the podcast. Go give that episode a listen. I think it's episode 3 or 4? Anyway, he asks me if I intend to come to Download. I reply no, citing financial constraints. He makes an offer, and we come to a deal. I am now attending Download. Oh Christ, or rather, oh Satan, best get in the mood. Before I can leave, I need to get a bunch of things done. My van is unpacked and everything is scattered all across Grandma's house, where I'm staying. I own very limited stocks of food, and with my budget constraints, vendor prices aren't appealing to me. Finally, my tripod is still with the legendary Freddie Fellows of Secret Garden Party fame, at the Secret Garden Party site, on his farm, in Abbots Ripton. I need that tripod. Tackling the first job, I loaded up all my kit that I had into the van and put some frozen squash into my cool box. I gathered all the food I could scavenge from my cousin Ailey into the rusty old daily and planned my route. First Little, then Huntingdonshire, then finally the famous Castle Donington circuit, where for many years the monsters of rock have held sacrament for Britain's congregations of grebos, rockers and metalheads. Now, festival shopping is a lot different when you have access to a van with refrigeration. Unfortunately, while I am technically in this camp, my fridge requires a substantial amount of sunlight in the mornings and evenings to not completely knacker my batteries. Looking at the forecast, I knew this wasn't going to happen. I also reasoned I was going to be incredibly busy at this festival. My deal with Dean was still vague as to how much I'd need to actually work for him, but given Download's size, intensity and scale, I figured I'd not have any time to do any cooking. Sandwich materials and snacks then were the order of the day, although I couldn't help be tempted by Little Bakery's offerings. Truly the larder of the gods, Little Bakery is something you cannot miss while shopping in the UK. So my shopping is done and packed away. Now I've got to head on my way to Abbots Ripton Farming Company. Oh dear, it looks like the rain started. This is not good news. Not good news at all. Just arrived at the SGP. There's the barn, there's the office behind Patrick the Rabbit. So, SGP had put my tripod in the post, but the lovely Helen gave Abbots Ripton Post Office a ring, and it turns out it hasn't been sent, so I'm going over there to go pick it up. Hey, look who's back! So I'm now on the way to Download Festival. Fuck yeah, boys! It's really exciting. Gonna meet up with Dean and the Circular Camping crew, my sister, boyfriend, and there are a bunch of my mates who are coming too, which is even cooler. It was fun dropping in on Secret Garden Party, even saw the head gardener, albeit for a second, and had a lovely time hanging out with their crew, which was good. Got my little dongly boy back, as you saw, which is brilliant, yeah. So now, onwards and upwards. Hopefully I can get some dinner on the way. So, every time I've been to Download, it's rained pretty heavily. I don't think this is going to be an exception. Pulling onto the festival site, I began trying to figure out the details of what exactly I was supposed to be doing, and where, for that matter, I was supposed to be camped. Here I made my first mistake. Rather than being insistent about the necessity of getting my van to Eco Camp, where the circular camping team were based, I decided the spot I was offered in crew camper van, approximately a 1.5 mile walk away, would be fine. Clearly, I had forgotten quite how bloody big this festival was. The crew camper van site I'd ended up in did have some upsides, mind. My sister Tiger Lily and her boyfriend, Stephen, were camped less than 200 metres away with Hotbox, so at least I had people to hang out with back at base. Not that it'd be that much. Not knowing what to expect, I settled down for the evening and enjoyed the planes. Aeroplanes! You know you're at download when the fucking aeroplane's making more noise than the stages. I'm going to be very glad for this come lunchtime. Carrots, bars, sandwiches. Perfect. It is now 8 in the morning and I am up and about, carrying way too much stuff and making my way to circular camping reception. Yeah, so I'm just crossing the racetrack. Hunters at download really don't get to see much of the racetrack, which I think is kind of sad because it's pretty cool. After passing over the racetrack, my journey took me into the village, home to the doghouse, fairground rides, and more types of traders than I could reasonably count if I was trying. The village served as a central point for the campsites and was where most of Download's late night entertainment would take place. However, after walking for what seemed like an age, none of that really interested me at the moment. I instead hurried through it towards eco camping and where I was working for this event. Bloody hell have you. Along the way, I lent my swords to 2 security guards who had a husband and wife grud match outside the gate of circular camping. While there were still some final preparations taking place when I arrived and power had yet to be fully installed, I soon figured out that I was going to enjoy my time with circular camping. My job was fluffy, customer-facing and media-based, and it quickly became apparent that I was going to have a lot of freedom. The company, which operates using gear recycled from festival fields, had set up a pre-pitched campsite and a camping shop at Download, and while things were quiet on Wednesday, the neat rows of still empty tents had a certain organised appeal of their own. Before long, however, customers started to arrive. Welcome to circular camping! Yeah, have you come far?
Only from Mansfield, so not that
I feel like
far,
that walk, I felt like I came from Wales.
Put your stuff down and we'll get you sorted, come on.
Oh no, we have no tent. At reception. Oh no, I can't do it anymore.
We've got 3 wheels on the go right now.
Oh, I have one.
Has it suffered?
It's been broken
We
now.
lost one as soon as we got in. Someone ran up.
Shit.
Someone ran up holding the wheel. You guys dropped this. So I've it in my bag as a memento.
So she says if, but the correct word is when.
Who had to put up all the tents?
Oh god, not me. Too old for that shit. All of the team over there, and a lot of them came already before and they've gone and they're coming back.
Oh wow.
They're amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Iggy, by the way, so let's paddling around for the weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Where did you put mine?
There we go. Whoa! Hey! So, I've had a nice, successful morning shooting some stuff, putting up some tents for circular camping. These guys just arrived, can't be bothered to put up your tents. Should have got circular camping, wouldn't have to put up your tent. After a morning spent hanging about the campsite, Dean and I made the strategic decision that, well, our circular camping customers were lovely, but there are about 12 of them, and I don't want a cameraman bothering me all morning when I've just arrived at a festival, so I thought they might want a bit of peace. We figured the best content available at the moment could probably be found out in general camping, so walking in the opposite direction to the swarms of people pulling trolleys onto site, I set off, and boy howdy, did I see some shit. Magnificent. So why have you brought a soda stream to a festival?
So I can make Pepsi Max and vodka lime soda.
Is it better than just bringing like
Bottles?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it like they'd have to bring like 10 bottles, but this will make like, I don't know, 50.
Yeah. This man had forgotten his cutlery and was trying to build an implement out of a can. It did not go well for him.
There we go. There we go. Oh, stop the fag out in it! That's you little prick! There we go, nice sharp edge, look.
What do you need the sharp edge for?
Good for buttering. Yeah, that got me. And then I've got grabbers then, and I can...
Bit of beer on it.
Yeah.
Beer. Stick it in there.
Where's steak on? Oh, it got me a little bit.
Oh, you'll live.
Come on!
Hey! Is that what? Is that? Fucking hell, boys!
Do not put this on the internet. I will sue.
Probably about.
Yeah, so this has happened to you. Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me what happened.
We overloaded it with weight because we didn't want to take 2 trips, put too much on the trolley.
One clever...
Well, or lift it over the little rubber risers. So that's what we hit. We hit that with pace and it just...
and it just went.
Yeah.
So, why did you decide to do the slide?
Well, it's my mum's idea, and I thought that would be good, but all my stuff has fallen off about 4 times.
So it's not actually very good at all?
It's a fucking nightmare. Yeah. It's better than nothing. Nah, it's just trial and error. Like, this big bag was on it, and so I switched that out. That's why I got a bit better. We're compromising it. Got to keep that positive.
You're just watching me struggle.
Yep. I'm actually making an advert for the pre-hired tents.
Oh, yeah, basically, don't do this. Do this.
I thought that might be the conclusion.
Yeah, it sucks when you have to put a 4-man tent up on your own because the other person isn't arriving for a couple of days.
Having explored eco and green camping, and definitely having not indulged in some non-existent beers offered by the new friends I'd made along the way, I felt confident I'd illustrated the advantages of camping in a circular style. It was high time to return to the Circular Camping HQ. Once I arrived, however, the beauty of that fucking view hit me again, and this time it was blessed with thine sun setteth. God bless, boys, that was fucking mad. Don't have time to make sandwiches today, so I've instead just put the deconstructed ingredients into a bag.
It's great last year. We had these young, I thought, oh God, they're going to come out with that, these rains are going to cover in blue goo, and I'm going, oh my God, they're pushing the toilets out there. Here it goes, I've been told about these people. And then I thought, what happened to you? She's like, aliens with blue goo everywhere. Oh, well done. The wings too, when they go to the rock set, great, so that is, they love that, so they... Because in the morning I've got up in the village of rock that. So the kids get up and do exercises to walk out. It's great. So that's the best place.
Still a long way. As I arrived at eco camping on Thursday morning, I found things were going swimmingly. Smiles bedecked people's faces, with the sun occasionally showing itself and the grass still being a green colour. I decided, given these conditions were unlikely to last, it was a good time to actually do my job and chat to some of our campers. So are you enjoying your experience camping with Circular so far?
Our tent is so cool. So cool. It's like a mini apartment. Honestly though, it kind of is.
Not as nice as the apartment we stayed in last night.
Honestly, I'd choose that over the apartment that we stayed in last night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the roll mat is really squishy. I did the upgrade to the 10cm boy. No regrets. And yeah, it was just really handy. I was knackered when I got here and it was just, oh, my bed is ready, just get on in. I mean, it saved my day yesterday. And I didn't have to carry it either because I was coming on public transport, so it was really ideal for that.
Really good atmosphere as always. People are very friendly. So, really straightforward when I arrived. Very streamlined this year. Last year. And it was, I didn't want the hassle of having to carry a tent and all the extra bits and bobs, and it's really easy and it's quite good, really enjoy it.
What else do you like?
So wait, this is your first time camping, yeah? How are you enjoy your lot?
First download, first time camping. I've done festivals, but
Have you ever slept in a tent before?
yes, I have slept in a camp, but in the back garden when I was younger. I don't think that counts.
I'm not very good at putting up tents on my own, so this is a very, very good alternative. As someone who has mobility issues, you know, it provided a good alternative to allow me to still come to a festival, you know, and feel confident that I can do it on my own. I was anxious about getting in, finding a space to set up my own tent and how I would manage that. So seeing that this was an option alongside something like Ready to Rock as well, yeah, just relieved a ton of stress. It just made it so much easier.
Well, your lovely Iggy Azalea, we called her, has been fantastic. She carried our bags and she was lovely. So yeah, it's been great so far.
Oh,
It's so convenient, especially in the rain. So yeah, it was lovely, and the tent's fantastic.
did you come in today?
Yeah, just came in literally about half an hour ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was sunny this morning.
I know, right? But it's all right now. So yeah, it's cool.
While I was enjoying myself at the Circular Camping base doing interviews, it was early in the weekend and my feet didn't hurt yet, so I was glad to receive a mission that would have me adventuring across the site. One of our customers, Connor, was supposedly entering the chili eating contest, and I was to hurry across the festival, bedeck him in a Circular Camping hoodie, and film this competition of constitution. The chili eating contest was being held at a venue called The Outpost, which held a bunch of interesting stuff, including cooking demos and Hammer horror films, which people could listen to through their Android phones. When I arrived at the Outpost for stage, I was disappointed to find our man, Connor, had not made it into the competition, and in fact, this event was rather organised, rather than the chaotic campsite mayhem that I'd sort of expected and hoped for. In hindsight, given the consequences of mass chili consumption, this is probably for the best, though. You know, I don't think 50 people going to the medical tent is gonna be best for the festival.
It's Shahina Wasim, the UK Chili Queen.
Oh my god, I'm so happy to be here. Welcome, Download. How are you guys feeling?
So what we're going to do now, I think, is actually bring the contestants that we've had so many sign-ups. It's been unbelievable. We've had to turn down a lot of people today. But we've got 10 people who are willing to take on this painful challenge. Should we get Aidan on? Oh, we got, this is James, Jason, Christina, Erica, Idil.
Erica, I love you! I will marry you! Erica,
Tom, Jamie.
It wasn't me.
Tom down. Jamie, you're down the end there.
Even better.
Aidan and Chris and Elliot.
Yes, my name.
Hey.
That's me. Been here,
Right.
And the thing they are going to win today, the Download Chili Eating Championship League of Fire belt.
Oh yes.
This is it. This is what they're fighting for today. So this is going to be a very painful show. They're going to suffer for your entertainment, and what you got to do is cheer them on.
Oh yes. So what's going to happen? We're going to dish out some peppers to these guys, and we're going to say 3, 2, 1, chomp those chilies.
Matt, let's practice. 3, 2, 1. Love it.
The competition started out easily enough, with the contenders eating their way through the big fresh green chilies you'd get in a kebab shop, though one competitor still reached out for his milk, only to be dissuaded by the angry crowd and disappointed ref.
Oh, hang on. Elliot, go for milk. Elliot, don't touch that milk. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. No way.
One more round. You can do it.
Make him suffer!
As we're saying, green finger chilies, you can find these in your gel frazee. Now these are around about 10,000 Scoville hit units. We're not giving them one, we're giving them 2 because they're not massive, but they're a little bit pokier. Yes, you can.
Elliot, come on!
Go for it, Elliot.
Come on, Elliot!
One more round, Elliot.
Elliot, that was incredible effort.
3, 2, 1, chomp those chilies! That was easy peasy, lemony squeezy, wasn't it?
Wow, these guys are good.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Okay.
They're still smiling, so we're not doing our jobs properly, I think.
Yeah.
They're still smiling.
Okay, well, we're going to go straight on to round 3.
Rounds 3 and 4 did not pose any of the contenders any trouble, but before long the range of chilies, hot sauces and crucially dried chilies had built up and whittled the pack of 9 brave contenders down to just 2 heroic warriors.
Can't call it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I have a feeling this is going to go to the race finale, the death race finale. Now please show me your mouth and I'll declare you the winner.
Chomp those chilies! I love the tactics of Jacob there. He put both of those habaneros in his mouth. He's just in the zone, chomping away. Jamie is making his way through that first Turkish chili.
So close, so
Come on, keep cheering. Jamie's midway through his first Turkish pepper. There, a lot of moisture in that. Jacob is just starting his Turkish pepper. Jamie's finished his first one. Oh, there's a bucket there. If you need the bucket, careful. Jamie. That means Jacob is the winner. Congratulations. Jacob! And a big round of applause for Jamie as well, please. That was hardcore. Well, well, well. You're going to be wearing that all weekend.
Thank you to campmates who never stopped cheering for me. Even managed to convince a couple of the people to stop cheering for me. They were egging me on straight from the get-go when I told them I was going to do it today, do it yesterday after watching it. They thought, no, you're lying, and then I went to do it and they were like, yeah, go on then, go. Now it's just the shakes. I don't know whether that's from the chilies or winning. Normally I get like really anxious and chicken out and the things like these. Normally whenever it's like I'm doing something like somewhat competitive and then I've got people stood around, like people that watching me, I just get like really anxious and just choke. Nearly did, literally. It was weird because some of the ones as they went further on, some of them you just chew into them and it's basically just a bell pepper, but then like the one after it was basically just went low high.
So what was this saying about all the winners purging?
Well, all the contestants have been consuming a lot of peppers and capsaicin and heat, and I've done a few contests myself, and I've always purged afterwards because you don't want super hots going through your system.
So Matt Tangent is the co-founder of League of Fire.
Hello.
I am the UK Chili Queen and I'm the brand ambassador, and I help these guys a lot.
League of Fire, it's a website dedicated to spicy food, spicy challenges, and chili eating contests, and it's like a chili ranking system. So if you win a chili eating contest, you get points.
It's basically the only database in the world that records people's achievements doing spicy challenges, whether it's chili eating, whether it's hot sauce, whether it's hot and sort of really crazy challenges. We record them and we put them on this massive pedestal. We got league tables for every challenge, and they get known around the world for it.
So we're at Download at the moment. Do you think metalheads have a particular love for chilies?
They really were up for it.
I think they're like hardcore music addicts, and so with chili as well, they go hardcore. They love it. So I was giving them these super hot chilies. I was feeling a bit bad, but they loved it.
I got to say, I think this is one of my favourite contests.
It was really fun.
One of my favourites.
Really fun today. Today was the best one we've done in a long time.
But do check out leagueoffire.com, where you'll find more information about League of Fire and all the spicy craziness that we get up to all around the world.
Making my way back towards eco-camping, I heard the familiar and enticing sound of polka coming out of the doghouse. No, it couldn't be. Had I accidentally wandered into the Old Time Sailors? Now, for those of you unfamiliar, the Old Time Sailors are a 28-piece folk punk act which have been tearing up the UK festival scene for the last year or so, and bloody hell they are good. Described by me as the new Bellowhead, OTS are one of the most intense live folk experiences you will ever encounter, and will have even an unenthusiastic or confused crowd jigging along to their focused charms by the end. I particularly like that they insist on covering a couple of songs by my absolute favourite band, the Canadian polka punk legends, the Dreadnoughts. Speaking of which, when will the Dreadnoughts be playing Download, I wonder? Andy, Cam, question for you guys there. Continuing back down the hill to the circular camping base to check in and pick up my stuff, I couldn't help myself from finding fun in getting into antics. Download's just like that.
Add in the song lyrics. I fucking hate you, and I wish you would die. What a sick flag. Thank you.
Worried eyes looked to the horizon, however. Rain clouds were threatening the festival. Nonetheless, I had plans to go meet a friend for a drink, so off I popped to the bar, where things were very busy, quite expensive, but surprisingly pleasant if pissed down upon. On Friday, the rains came. While it can't have been more than a few centimetres worth, it soaked the ground and turned everything into the kind of mud that crawls and climbs up your boot, your legs, your clothes, the kind that can't be stopped and gets everywhere. Everywhere, that is, except for the Circular Camping HQ. With the reduced foot traffic inside our compound, our grass survived, keeping us safe from the worst of the mud. Our stretch tent held up too, serving as the centre of relief, not just for our crew and customers, but also for the festival's poor, soaked-through security team. The rain wasn't all bad though. It certainly helped drive sales in the shop, with even the 90s vintage boot protectors Dean had fished out of a barn being a popular item. No doubt helped by my able modelling of them, of course. The downpour also gave several of our team members the chance to indulge in their hobbies, though, of course, looking after our customers came first. When I got a chance, in a brief break in the rain, I popped down into the campsite to have a chat with a few of the campers about how their tents had held up. How has your tent held up?
Fine, it's dry, it's lovely.
It's been really good. We've not had any leaks, have we?
No.
And it's been great that it's actually pitch black as well. It was quite nice waking up and not knowing what time it was. But it was just brilliant getting it, everything being set up ready for us. Not having to worry about carting everything from the car as well, so it's good.
However, I couldn't keep myself focused on the weather for too long. Before long, I found myself talking about the lineup, notably one band in particular. So, were Busted ever big in Sweden?
I'm not actually sure.
Oh.
I've been hearing some songs of them, but
Not
I
huge.
don't really know about them.
So they weren't the massive everyone's favourite band when they were 4 in like the year 2000.
Not that I've heard of.
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Despite that most crushing of realisations, I was still very excited about Friday. Beyond my hometown heroes of Busted, yes, Charlie Simpson is from Woodbridge, we were going to be treated to acts including the rough and heavy soft play and the mystical Hylum. Gathering my stuff together, I set off for my first trip to the arena this weekend. Way there though, I couldn't help myself from running into some antics. Friday was video game day, and half the people I saw were dressed up in some kind of costume or another.
Hey Lara!
When I got to the gate, the queues were relatively small, and it only took me a couple of minutes to get through. Searches were light, though I didn't really try and sneak anything through. I think wearing a high-vis that said press on it sort of made it a bit too easy, you know. Generally when they think you're crude, they don't bother you. A lot of this would have been affected by the fact that I tried it at like 3. If you did it at 1, it'd be a bit of a... Enjoying the ambience of the arena, I headed down to the Opus stage to see a band called All Them Witches, purely because of the name. They turned out to be a really interesting desert rock, stoner rock, like bluesy, slow, enjoyable thing. Very much my bag. I'm really glad I went to see them. After that, I headed over to see a band called Polythea. Now, they're kind of math rocky, not really a traditional download band, but again, really good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, lots and lots of fun. A bit up their own arse, but what do you expect from math rockers? They were playing on the main Apex stage and had drawn quite a big crowd, so I guess it fit better with the download scene than people sort of expected. While wandering towards soft play, I encountered a household full of Sims, who danced pretty video game accurately. I think it's the Sims 2 dance, but it might be Sims 3, honestly. I haven't played Sims since 2010, so I can't remember. Soft play, formerly known as slaves, are pretty well known to be honest. Well, except people don't remember their new name. The gruesome twosomes Crass punk rock somehow spent a while on Radio 1, but at download they're fully at home, with the dark humour that got them in trouble elsewhere landing perfectly. Playing a setlist including a surprising number of hits, while I wouldn't say they're unmissable except to their biggest fans, at the same time they consistently deliver a good show. I remember when they were booked to play the pilot, just after they changed their name, and no one had any idea who they were. We were all waiting, and we were pleasantly surprised when they came on, and we were like, oh yeah, it's those guys, nice.
seconds to beat the shit out of each other in a nice way. Let's go. This is what I saw. What do people get?
After soft play, the next thing on my list was Hailung. Heilung? Am I saying that right? Either way, Hailung are more an all-encompassing theatrical and religious experience than a conventional band, creating a simulacrum of ancient Norse culture, art, religion and myth. Deploying a phalanx of warriors bearing shield and spear, Heilung cannot fail to grab your attention. While their recreation of Norse music is not historically accurate, it does feel very authentic, at least to a layperson with an interest in history. Essentially, if you like the theme to Vikings, this will be your jam. Now, on to my first Clash complaint. Heilung and Busted aren't exactly similar acts, and I can't imagine the demographics are that matching, so I guess this one can just be put down to me being a weirdo with weird tastes. However, Busted being in the tent, now that is a travesty. Filled to the brim with people watching on their phones, the crowds were dense, and as far as I could tell, basically no one could see. While it didn't feel unsafe at any point, it was still a ridiculous place to put a band which half your audience grew up on. They'd have happily filled the second stage, and been perfectly reasonable on the main stage, potentially even higher up. I think they were just there because they're not really considered a download band, but they're such a download band. Like, if you've got The Offspring, you've got Green Day being considered download bands, Busted are a download band, they're pop punk. Anyway, even arriving late, I got to hear Year 3000, so I was very happy. After Busted, I was bloody tired and decided that, given I don't actually know a single Queens of the Stone Age song, staying up for them probably wasn't worth my time. You've got to choose your battles, you know. However, my walk home from the arena turned out to be a battle in itself. Seemingly getting turned around at every opportunity I could, I turned what could have been a relatively simple mile or so walk into what must have been a 3-mile trek to almost every which place in the festival. When I finally got back to my van, I was desperately wishing for a nice, conveniently positioned tent in eco with the circular camping gang. It's a gorgeous view, right? But it still doesn't warrant the site being so big. I'm on my way home and... God, it's just so far. Everything is so far from everything else. And that's good for, you know, not hearing each band over each other, but it's bad for trying to meet your friends or walking and your feet not hurting or anything like that. You know, it has upsides and downsides. I'm mostly focused on the downsides right now. A lot more rain fell over the night. The few remnants of grass in the arena that had somehow been spared the wrath of the 100,000 boots on Friday were swamped before anyone even arrived. This continued throughout the morning, with intermittent showers keeping many of the less brave, including myself, hiding under cover. The first act that I actually managed to get myself out and see was Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. While, with his greased back long hair and pink cardigan, he cuts a very different figure to the swanky suit wearer I first saw in 2015. His music is still the same energetic, aggressive, and yet approachable punk rock. Jamming out in the mosh pit, I was quite surprised at how many of his tracks I actually fucking love. With Juggernaut, Hate You, and This Town all sticking hard in my memory. Also, runs a good bit, lots of fun. Up next were Baby Metal. Now, you'll have had to have been living under a rock to not know about Baby Metal. 3 Japanese ladies and some guys in masks performing J-pop metal fusion. Now, normally, Baby Metal is always a great laugh, but at Download 2024, they were really not having the best of days. First, there were serious technical difficulties with the vocals, with none of the singers sounding clear, and then an inbound hailstorm interrupted their performance, forcing them off the stage. They were having an absolute mare, so yeah, I'm sorry Baby Metal. For the few songs they did get out problem-free, they were great, as always, but the hail was really bloody harsh, and there was nowhere to shelter. The cigarette was trying to roll before the squall made it and was completely destroyed. I think I might have been to at least 24 different festivals, and this is the first time I've actually been hailed on, so big ups Download, well done, you've achieved one that. At this point, I was faced with a tough decision. Enter Shikari were clashing with Tom Morello. Thinking practically, I reasoned to myself, Tom is an American. Shikari are from St Albans. Tom basically never plays the UK. Shikari are always about. Tom is. Tell me in the comments why I made the wrong choice. I was moaned about it loads when I was telling everyone in camping, but I think I'm right. So, I've heard some criticism of Tom's performance this year. Well, no one doubts his technical chops. Some say the choices they've made led to the show seeming a bit like a Rage Against the Machine's cover band. I mean, I'd have preferred him to go full Mad Lad and play like an acoustic Tom Morello and the Night Watchman show, and then, left his shit on the stage for Phil Cunane on Anselm to slip on. But his Liberation Now guitar was nice, and the description of Killing in the Name as an old English folk song is surprisingly accurate given the events of Christmas 2009.
So, mate, you have a bee on your hand. How does that make you feel?
Beyond excited. No, I feel like a responsible adult now. I feel like, this is my life now.
As I caught the end of Enter Shikari in the distance, I found myself waiting for the Offspring. Now, I have a little secret about the Offspring. I'm actually really embarrassed to admit this, but I don't think I've ever gone out of my way to listen to an Offspring track before in my life. Now, this is weird, because that Saturday, I discovered I fucking love the Offspring. I knew every word to almost every song they played, and I hardly even knew who they were before the fucking gig. To be honest, I don't understand. It feels like I've only ever listened to this band when I'm blackout drunk or something, and suddenly I'm seeing them at Download and I'm awakening all these hidden memories and a core love, and yeah, how did I miss this? Maybe my housemates listened to them a lot when I was in my cocktail phase, and I just don't have any coherent memory of that part of my life. That would make some sense. As did you? I genuinely don't know where else it could have come from. Message me, tell me. Yeah. Then it was time for a show by a notorious racist. A man whose political motivations are about as far from the warm and cuddly ideologies of Tom Morello or Enter Shikari as you can get. Now, obviously, as a good anti-racist, anarchist and leftist, I did not attend the Reformed Pantera show. Doing so would make me sick to my stomach. Hell, like a vampire trying to pass into a church uninvited, I would simply be unable to. If I did attend Pantera though, I would have to tell you it was good. Possibly good enough to torpedo my theory that right-wingers are simply physically incapable of making good art. Or maybe all those apologies weren't a smokescreen, and Phil actually isn't a racist after all. After definitely not watching Pantera, I managed, somehow, to find my sister amongst the crowds for Fall Out Boy. Now, if you ask my opinion, Fall Out Boy should never play a song from after 2010. So I thought the first half or so of their show was good, and the second half was absolutely awful. I don't think there are any artists who I'm quite so vicious with the old stuff good, new stuff bad dichotomy as I am with Fall Out Boy. So after 4 or 5 post-2014 tracks, me and Tiger Lily decided that they probably didn't have any more bangers in their catalogue and marched off. At this point, Tiger Lily's partner Stephen suggested we go see a band called Zebrahead, who are most famous for appearing in a Tony Hawk game soundtrack. Deftly missing the crowds who were catching the end of Fall Out Boy and finding a space inside the tent, we settled down to enjoy the show. Located in a village, the Den has a nice feel about it, surrounded by trees, and I really like having the option to see bands late at night, rather than be forced to listen to a DJ or mill about in a tent being miserable and drinking vodka. Zebrahead themselves were surprisingly good, keeping up a bouncy, jovial atmosphere and offering a really playful mosh pit. You know, this was the only circle pit I got into this entire weekend. It's sad times for camera operators at muddy events. We couldn't stay too long, however. There was a hot tip Bowling for Soup were playing at the Doghouse, and an acoustic set too. I was really excited for this, though in hindsight I'm not sure why. I'm not a big Bowling for Soup fan. Anyway, the place was packed, and after a few songs we decided we couldn't be bothered and wandered off home to bed. Sunday was supposed to be my day off, but being a little ridiculous, all I took that to mean was that I wouldn't be needed at the Circular Camping Base Camp, and therefore had substantially less walking to do. Media duties were still on, however, and my camera remained firmly around my neck. I say that, my repeated attempts to get out of bed failed until something like 1, when I finally managed to drag myself out into the crew canteen. You see, Tiger Lily and Stephen had been interviewed by Hotbox for their version of this film the previous day, and had been given an extra, non-transferable meal token. I got roast pork, salad and pasta. It may well have changed my life after 4 days without hot food. Heading into the arena, I checked the time. Damn, I was missing alien weaponry. Well, it was too late for hurrying to be worthwhile. I relaxed into the slog of a man who needed to conserve his little remaining energy and forced my way through the mud. The mud, by this point, had got really, really bad. Like, it was sticking to your boots, sticking to your shoes, clawing its way up your clothes. The previous night, I had managed most of the day, and then upon putting a backpack on, had found it had completely ruined my clothing setup, so the mud had just climbed up the back of my coat and just got everywhere. So I'd had to change clothes. It wasn't very nice, to be honest. Indeed, at one point on Sunday, burdened down by the layers I'd had to take off in the face of a suddenly emergent sun, and the fear that anything dropped would be consumed by the stinking ocean below, I had a brief moment where I just stopped enjoying myself at all. Thankfully, a friendly stranger let me use his chair to reorganise my possessions, and the friend who I was with reassured me and carried my coat for a while, alleviating my mental strain. But still, it's a sign of what difficult weather at this festival can do to even an experienced field-based party animal. Before I arrived at Download, and to be honest, before I took a too close a look at the lineup, I expected Sunday to be the mega highlight of the weekend. Instead, it was kind of comparable to the weather, a bit of a damp squib. Maybe some of this comes down to the fact that after 4 days marching around not eating properly, I started to lose my ability to have fun, but I think a fair bit of this comes down to the lineup too. Two of my highlights, Machine Head and Limp Bizkit, were clashing, and lower down the bill, there just really wasn't anything that tickled my fancy. Now, maybe I've been a bit out of the loop too long with regard to metal. If I'd had the energy to get out of bed, I'd have gone to see Delilah Bond, and as mentioned, Alien Weaponry were also quite interesting to me. But with a big site, midday Sunday sets are just too hard to do. Spending some time wandering the arena, I took in the sights, sounds and smells. While festival food was well beyond my budget, the Bunnyman's Bunny Chow was getting rave reviews from everyone I encountered, including a genuine South African from Pietermaritzburg, who said it was better than the real thing. Checking the queues for the loos for the first time, I'd not actually been drinking that much. The cool weather greatly reduces one's need for water. I discovered that the ones for the men's at least matched the women's, if not exceeded it. I have no idea what was going on there, although both queues were awful, probably a result of the war crimes inflicted on the festival's digestive systems, reportedly by one of the Yorkshire pudding tenants and a munchie box seller. The first act I managed to actually pay any attention to was Sum 41, who were a lot of fun. In Too Deep is just a banger, and I can't deny that. While some people might criticise the amount of pop punk at this year's download and want it to be more of a proper metal festival, I think it fits perfectly, and absolutely love it. Corey Taylor was up next, and despite the rumours circling around that he was too ill to perform, he managed to come out and put on a sterling show. While it was extremely entertaining, it did serve to illustrate the point behind the 8 other members of his regular band. Corey Taylor on his own, unfortunately, does not a Slipknot to make. Reaching the end of the festival, I had a hard final decision to make. Machine Head, Avenged Sevenfold were clashing as well. Watching the beginning of Machine Head's heavy pounding set, I came to the conclusion that, though they may be dramatic, Avenged doing a headline show was not something to miss. I was right too. Of the 3 headliners, they put on by far the best, highest energy show, and were easily the best fit for download. The crowd loved them, and while it seemed like they may have attracted slightly smaller numbers than Fall Out Boy, this could just as easily put down to the wear of the weather on people's endurance and the logistics. So, Download 2024. What did we learn then? Well, 2 core things really. First, everything I saw this year supports my view that the festival is just too damn big. There is much too much walking for me, a fit and healthy individual who literally walks as a bloody hobby. With so much on at once, people's must-sees are bound to clash, meaning disappointments to some. Also, metal, or alternative music in general, is bloody broad. I can't imagine that many Highlung fans are also into Busted like me, for example. I really think that Live Nation should split Download up and do 2 or 3 Download branded events over the year. And crucially, I think they need to shrink whatever they're doing at Castle Donington dramatically. In bad weather, the site simply can't hold up to the festival, and paying customers and the mostly volunteer crew are the ones who suffer from this, particularly people with access needs. Download prides itself on being the most accessible festival in the country, and yeah, they do a hell of a lot, but in weather like this, its size makes doing an actually good job of it impossible. I saw people on crutches and electric wheelchairs negotiating miles of mud, and heard horror stories of people waiting hours and hours and hours for the supposedly pre-arranged transport, wasting an enormous amount of the festival they paid for. By reducing the size of the Donington Park Festival down to something more comparable to the pilot in 2021, and offering other Download branded events at other locations throughout the year, Live Nation could do a lot to mitigate all of these problems. At its core, Download's a really well-run festival. It's just struggling to operate under its own titanic weight. The second thing I learned is that circular camping is bloody brilliant. I didn't title this video in jest or as a compliment or favour to my sponsor. While I was at the festival, I was genuinely jealous of those camping in the community that we created in that little corner. While some of that comes from the relatively central position of eco-camping, making their journeys to and from everywhere easier than mine from my van and crew, most of my desire to be there came from the spirit generated in that place. Offering exceptional service and real genuine care, the circular camping reception served as a place where customers could go and take their problems and actually expect someone to help them. While as an experienced festival goer, I've learnt to become somewhat self-dependent. For someone who is a bit newer to camping or festivals, the safety net offered by this staffed stretch tent is absolutely invaluable. A broken bit of kit will be repaired or replaced, hot water will be provided, and if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or lonely, new friends are there waiting for you. You just take your problems up, you ask them, and they'll be able to help you. There will be people who know what you need to do. People who've gone to dozens of festivals. They know what's up. Now, I fully admit going with circular camping takes a little bit of the rough, raw edge of Download. However, for many people, these are the things that put them off coming in the first place. Most people don't want to have to lug a tent 4 miles and then have it crashed into by a lumbering 7-foot tall Viking 20 pints deep of Old Rosie into his apple-fueled Vision Quest. Download is rough and raw enough without the hassle of general camping. It almost exhausted me, and I did 13 festivals last year. There are loads of reasons why someone might want to go with circular camping, from coming in from abroad or on public transport and wanting to reduce the weight you carry, to simply not being an experienced camper. However, there is one group I wanted to touch on particular: people with additional access needs. For those of you who find moving a bit difficult, need guaranteed access to power, or just want a little bit of extra support, circular camping is a fantastic option. The services offered genuinely enable people who otherwise couldn't attend to go and attend a big festival like Download. So yeah, that was my Download 2024 video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like all the best festivals, me going was unplanned till like a week before, so an enormous thanks for Dean for bringing me along and making it possible. And everyone at Circular Camping, you're amazing. Thank you for making such an effort to be my friend. Tiggs and Stephen, thank you for spending time with me, and thank you for feeding me on Sunday. I don't know if I'd survived without you. Jamie and Jamie, thank you both for finding me kind of miserable in the mud and cheering me up at various points. I needed it a lot, you both saved my bacon. And finally, thanks to you. If you've somehow got through to listening to me blather about fucking guitar nerds spending a week in a muddy field for a whole hour, I kind of love you. Could I please ask that you like this video and subscribe? Like, seeing that number go up gives me a sense of joy, and yeah, it would mean a lot. Anyway, love you guys lots. Tim.